Patients with a history of motion sickness are highest risk. Major breast surgery and ear, nose, and throat operations are the most likely to make patients sick during recovery. Researchers say doctors should assess a patient's risk of nausea and then tailor a treatment plan that can include drugs or techniques like acupuncture. Obesity could cost you more than your health. A new study suggests that North Americans who are obese spend more for health care and medication than smokers do. The study also finds packing on the pounds causes the same increase in chronic health problems as adding 20 years to your age. Tobacco still has the higher death toll, but obesity is worse when it comes to long-term health problems. Stay with us. The news at 6 starts now.
Fatal crash. One Mountie is killed and another injured during a routine traffic investigation. Then, lashing out, the Premier attacks a global investigation into underage drinking. Plus, misleading statistics. Calgary's economy may not be growing as fast as you think.
Global News at 6 with Nirmala Naidu-Hill and Tony Tighe.
Good evening. The RCMP is in mourning tonight. They lost one of their own in a highway crash near Banff. It's our top story. It happened at 8:30 this morning on the Trans-Canada in the westbound lanes near the Sunshine Interchange. A 35-year-old female officer died and a 24-year-old male officer was hurt. As David Boushy reports, the officers were investigating a rollover at the time.
It was a tragic sequence of events that began when this Chevy Suburban lost control in icy conditions and ended up on its roof off the side of the Trans-Canada Highway. No one was seriously hurt in the rollover. One of the occupants called the accident into Banff RCMP.
When the police vehicle arrived, they parked off on the shoulder and had begun their preliminary investigation when a second vehicle came around the curve, entered the icy area, lost control, and simultaneously struck the rear of the police vehicle and both police persons who were outside the vehicle as pedestrians at the time. The investigation is ongoing at this time. My understanding is investigators found the police vehicle with the lights still running.
Both officers were taken to hospital in Banff, where one was pronounced dead. The other went on to Foothills Hospital with serious injuries. He's now listed as stable. A young family of 4 was in the second vehicle, a rented Ford SUV that slammed into the police cruiser. One passenger suffered minor injuries. Police are accustomed to attending bad accidents, especially on Alberta highways, but it's rare when it involves their own members.
At this time, there's an awful lot of work to do. The investigation is clearly ongoing. Everybody is very task-focused right now. At the end of the day, the emotional impact of the nature of the job that they're doing is going to catch up to it. And when something of this nature, this kind of terrible tragedy occurs, then you really do have to come together and try to work your way through it.
Grief counselors have been called into the Banff detachment to help officers deal with their loss. The deceased officer will receive a full regimental funeral. David Boushy, Global News, near Banff.
RCMP say there is no evidence that speed or alcohol were factors. Westbound traffic was diverted through the Bow Valley Parkway for about 5 hours today. Roads were in poor condition near Calgary this morning as well. Motorists heading north of the city were caught by surprise. The snowstorm blew in very quickly and created whiteout conditions on Highway 2. This is what it looked like between Balzac and Airdrie. Many drivers thought it was too dangerous to drive, so they pulled over just to be safe.
Couldn't see a thing. I was just scared stiff.
I'm trying to get out to Airdrie to pick my boss up. She's in from Regina.
And were you surprised at how bad it is?
Yeah, I really was, because when I left Calgary, I didn't realize it was, this bad. So otherwise, I wouldn't have left.
There was also a chain reaction collision during that storm east of Calgary on Highway 1 near Highway 9. A semi hit the ditch trying to avoid that pileup. One driver was hurt and taken to Foothills Hospital. Paul Dunphy's here with a look at our weather today. Boy, that hit fast and then left just as fast.
Yes, it wasn't a very big system, but it was fairly intense. It hit between about 8 and 9 this morning, and we could see some more snow. The next 24 hours brings about a 40% chance. We've got fog right now, -7 degrees our current temperature, and that's where we were through much of the day. Had a cold front go through here last night. Very swift-moving cold front, which is now in Manitoba, and brought some warm air into that region. In behind it, we still have the westerly flow trying to reestablish itself, and it should, but it probably won't last long. Even if it does get going, we're expecting tomorrow to see a shift later in the day back to a north wind, and then things are going to cool down for us. Our high today was officially 2 degrees, but that was very early in the morning, recorded just after midnight. Your 5-day forecast, and it's a cool one, coming up in a few minutes.
All right, talk to you then, Paul. Teachers say they've been stabbed in the back by the Klein government. They're upset that arbitration won't deal with classroom conditions and that the province has taken away their right to strike. ATA President Larry Boy made it clear last night the province's plans for arbitration mean the classroom is going to change. As Louie Koutis reports, some teachers are no longer providing services that are considered voluntary.
We're doing okay.
Coaching high school sports is one job teachers take on voluntarily. But soon the only ball some students may be playing is the odd pickup game over the lunch hour. Teachers are withdrawing from some extracurricular activities because of Bill 12.
I've had my right to bargain collectively taken away. I've had my right to free speech taken away. I've had my right to consult with colleagues, so my right to assembly has been taken away. So you take away a person's rights, a whole raft of rights, and it really gives a person pause to think, now what?
Larry Rearmouth has been teaching for 33 years. He's already taking action to protest what he says is the government's refusal to deal with teachers fairly.
I won't be marking diploma exams for the government of Alberta. I won't be serving on any of their committees.
Many teachers say their fight with the Klein government is just beginning. In fact, they're going to be wearing black to school on Friday as their way of protesting their treatment by the Klein government. Even though some teachers are withdrawing from voluntary activities, the ATA says it's not telling its members to withdraw services because of the threat of heavy fines.
So if one of them is a regular teacher, they could be fined up to $1,000. If the other teacher goes monthly to a Council of School Representatives meeting, they could be fined up to $10,000.
Some parents say they don't like the way the province is handling the situation.
Well, I think that the teachers are getting a raw end of the deal. I think they deserve a whole lot more than what they're getting.
And students say forcing teachers into binding arbitration won't improve their education.
They're not changing class sizes or anything, so we're going to have more difficulties learning because teachers will be unhappy, so we'll be unhappy.
Unless it's an explicit part of my regular teaching duties, I won't be doing it.
Louie Koutis, Global News, Calgary.
Students at Simon Fraser Junior High say that teachers there have already started to withdraw from extracurricular activities. The school has canceled the school dance and it's delayed sports tryouts. Police have released some more information about the boyfriend of a Calgary murder victim. They've made a missing person poster for Stéphane Parent. The 33-year-old was last seen on February 15th in downtown Ottawa after flying in from Calgary. His mother in Ottawa is pleading for him to come forward. Police want to talk to him about the murder of 21-year-old Adrienne McCall. Her body was found in a ditch near Nanton last month. And police have ruled out foul play in 2 deaths that were originally considered suspicious yesterday. A 61-year-old woman's body was found under a truck in her driveway, but the medical examiner has ruled out any wrongdoing. And the medical examiner has also ruled out foul play in the death of a man at the Quality Inn on Edmonton Trail. The 20-year-old was found dead in his room. Homicide detectives have now ended their investigation. It seems our investigation into teens and drinking has got the attention of the province. Last night, using hidden camera video, we showed how easy it is for teens to buy alcohol from liquor stores. Today, Premier Ralph Klein criticized our report, and the Alberta Gaming and Liquor Commission says it will conduct its own investigation after seeing our undercover sting. Ted Henley reports.
16, 17, 17, 16. 4 teenagers who have been drinking for years. They say almost all of their friends do it, and getting alcohol is simple.
Really, you see kids smoking, like they get cigarettes, they get liquor. Yeah. Same. Like, it's that easy.
Like at times you're gonna have to go to like a couple of liquor stores trying to find what you want. But like down here they're kind of more uptight than they are up north from what I can tell.
Also, there's a strategy behind.
There's a whole game into it.
The results of our hidden camera investigation suggest the game of getting alcohol is being won by teenagers. It shows buying booze is surprisingly easy. In our investigation, underage volunteers are able to purchase alcohol 5 out of 6 times. They literally walk away with liquor hassle-free. By law, retail store owners have to ask anyone who looks under 25 years of age for identification. They also shouldn't even let minors into the store without an adult. Store owners breaking the rules could face a fine or a license suspension. Alberta Gaming and Liquor is responsible for enforcing the rules. 40 inspectors police the industry province-wide. Last year, 21 liquor stores were caught breaking liquor laws, but should the government be doing more to crack down? We asked the Premier, and he criticizes our investigation.
Basically, they counseled someone to break the law, I think. Is that what happened? You stinkers. Well, it always causes concern, but I'm sure... You know, I don't like to say this, but it's certainly not the first time. But I'll tell you, there are laws in place, and as I understand, the fine or the punishment upon conviction is really quite severe.
The most severe is a liquor store losing its license indefinitely.
Not hard at all. Really, it's not. It's about...
As for these teens, they plan to continue purchasing alcohol because they say they can get away with it. Ted Henley, Global News, Calgary.
Late this afternoon, the Alberta Liquor and Gaming Commission issued a written statement. It says the Commission takes the issue of minors trying to purchase alcohol very seriously. It goes on to say the AGLC will be doing an investigation of this incident and will take whatever steps are necessary resulting from the investigation. As for Premier Klein's comments, we'd like to stress that the teenagers volunteered to take part in our hidden camera investigation with their parents' consent. Also, all of the alcohol purchased was used to raise money for charity. Our look at teen drinking continues tomorrow as we examine the reasons why teens experiment with alcohol. One of the curlers at the Briar saw some unusual action off the ice this afternoon. He jumped over the Saddle Dome boards to help a man who had a heart attack. Scott Bitts is the skip on the Saskatchewan team. He's also a chiropractor with medical training. So when he noticed the emergency in the stands early in the game this afternoon, he rushed to join the spectators. He helped an 82-year-old man who collapsed in the ringside seats.
I just looked over there and saw them doing CPR on a fella between a couple of the rows there, and so I just ran over and jumped across and asked if they needed a hand.
He was pulseless and not breathing when I got down there, so we just laid him down and started CPR. The gentleman up the row here, about 4, did chest compressions, and I breathed for him.
They were in a good groove with the CPR, and then the paramedics showed up not long after and took over from there.
The man was rushed to hospital, and the latest word is that he is in critical condition tonight. It is a special political anniversary for Ralph Klein today. It was 1 year ago that he swept into his 3rd term in power.
Welcome to Ralph's world.
But Ralph's world has changed since his Tories won an overwhelming majority that night. The terrorist attacks led to plummeting energy prices and provincial spending cuts. Klein admitted he had a drinking problem, and now he's getting political heat over the teachers' dispute. But analysts say Klein has dealt with controversy before, and the past year wasn't much different than other years. The numbers are out, and Calgary's population is growing at a fast pace. But there's more to the census numbers than meets the eye. That story's coming up next on Global News at 6.
This Global program is brought to you by Rosini's Leather Company. Furniture for life. You must check us out.